I want to talk about the land still deck for a second here.
Please do.
The creature base for the land still deck, yeah, it's a 4 Geist of St. Traft, 3 Snapcaster Mage, 1 Restoration Angel, and 3 Vendilion Click. So until I got to Vendilion Click, it felt a lot like a standard deck. Spell Pierce, yeah, and then Spell Pierce, Force of Will, Brainstorm, Swords, Standstill, Bolt, and Helix.
This is not what I imagine as a land still deck. It is much more aggressive and burn oriented version of this sort of thing that you imagine. It definitely falls within that genre. You can see that it owes a lot to traditional land still decks. In that it has some controlling elements, it has a Celestial Colony, it has the Mishra's Factories, but this is a pretty aggressive deck. So it looks like David with his junk deck is probably pretty far ahead, just because he has an active Knight of the Reliquary that Jeremy has not been able to deal with yet. But we're at healthy life totals, it appears, and we're not quite sure exactly what is in people's hands, so it's possible that Jeremy's just biding in his time to deal with that.
David has a pair of Swords to Plowshares, and it looks like 1 more land, but the board presence he has right now certainly is strong. When you look at removal that Jeremy might have, he has 4 swords, but outside of that, it's hard for him to get a removal spell that can deal with Knight of the Reliquary.
Yep. So, taking a little bit deeper look on David's list, it's actually kind of reminiscent of Maverick decks.
Absolutely. It starts with 4 Mother of Runes.
Yep. It's got that. It's got 2 Stoneforge Mystic. It's got the 4 Knight of the Reliquary, and then it has the Green Sun Zenith with a package of creatures that are nice targets, and then it has 3 Deathrite Shamans, kind of replacing Noble Hierarch as the accelerator du jour that gives you extra game against a couple of different decks.
Yeah, this is another elimination match. Both players are right now 5-1 going into this round.
Yeah, and David is up a game, so Jeremy really has his back against the wall. There's this large knight attacking him. He doesn't seem to have plays that are really going to stabilize things. He's got this Standstill in his hand, but it's not going to be effective. Jeremy's
hand is Standstill, Snapcaster Mage, 3 lands. Looking for plays, he doesn't seem to have much to Snapcaster in his graveyard. On the other side, David with 4 lands in play, really all he has is a pair of Swords to Plowshares, so the Knight of the Reliquary is pretty dominant on the board at the moment.
Yeah, and even if there was something in Jeremy's graveyard that he could Snapcaster, the fact that there's an active Deathrite Shaman on David's side makes that, a unlikely proposition.
And Jeremy does play Slayer's Stronghold was the land for the turn.
Oh boy. There's some interesting choices going on here. I would love to actually talk to Jeremy and find out what he's trying to accomplish.
Among other things, he also is playing an Igonjo Castle. That was something that was seen in the blue-white-red modern decks as a protector for Geist of St. Traft.
So if you can afford to have a land that only produces 1 color of mana, that seems like a pretty easy thing to put in your deck that has a legendary creature. And I think we've seen that before in Maverick decks.
So we just had Swords to Plowshares was cast was exiled by Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah.
Putting Jeremy down to 10. David Doberne plays Horizon Canopy, sacrifices it, draws a 2nd Deathrite Shaman, and swings Knight of the Reliquary.
Yep. So we get to make our Knight of the Reliquary a little bit bigger. We get to cycle through.
7/7. That will put Jeremy to 2, and then the final 2 damage done by Deathrite Shaman.
So David Doberne is victorious over Jeremy Bullard's blue-white-red landstill deck. So Junk wins again here in Seattle.
There's a couple of interesting